Processing items in a collection. There are multiple ways you can process items in a collection. One is using a splitter aggregator pair, where one flow controls and splits the collection into individual elements, and then that flow or a different flow can process them iteratively. And then another flow can be used to re-aggregate the elements back together if desired. The for each scope, on the other hand, splits a message collection and processes the individual elements, and then returns the original message. We can also use a batch job, which is an enterprise feature that provides us the ability to create jobs that will process datasets. This is not a flow, but another top-level element in Mule that we'll learn a lot about. And through using it, I think you'll see its power in doing large batch processing. Let's get into our first walkthrough 12.1, where I'd like to give you some perspective on processing items in a collection. Specifically, we'll use the for each scope element to process each item in a collection individually, and look at the thread used to process each record. Let's get started. Back inside of our application, in the accounts XML, let's go ahead and bring in a for each scope between the transform message and the logger. Inside of here, we'll put another logger inside of for each, and let's set up this logger to simply log the payload. That way we have the perspective of being inside of the for each, what exactly it has access to and what exactly it is iterating through. We'll put a breakpoint on the for each logger, remove the existing breakpoint from the old logger, and go ahead and run this application in debug mode. Now again, the point here is more so just to see what's going to happen inside of the for each scope to give you some perspective on what exactly you can iterate over and see. So once this for each scope is in place and the console checks out such that the application has turned on successfully, let's go to our output folder. We'll bring our accounts CSV backup back into the input directory, and we'll also go ahead and rename this, so refactor rename. And again, be sure to remove the backup so that it gets picked up as just a CSV. Now once this occurs, we'll get inside of our for each. At this point, you can see that we have 3 elements inside of for each. And if we step forward inside of our logger, you'll notice we now have access to just one element. So from for each, we could call another flow, we could do some type of transformation and processing on each record. This would effectively work just fine. So if we step all the way through here and then push it through, we can go into the console and we can see that each individual record has been processed. And you can see that the same thread, in this case, get CSV accounts flow thread 2, has gone through and done the processing on each of these. All right, so this is an example of how simple it is for you to use for each. Again, you could drop a transformer in here, even call another flow via a flow ref, and do individual processing on that collection. Pretty nice when there's not a lot of complexity in the batch job that you're trying to do, or if you just need to iterate again through a small array or list of things and do some record level processing. Now let's flip back to our slides and talk about some of these bigger batch-oriented jobs and how we can handle them.